We're getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving here in America, and I thought it would be good to spend a brief time before we get to Advent talking about the discipline of giving thanks and rejoicing. It may seem like an odd thing, but we're actually bombarded so much by our culture, by the news, by all the hard things that are happening, and it's easy to be weighed down. It's challenging to keep hope in the midst of this, and it's one of the reasons that the Apostle Paul, life really wasn't different in the ancient world. There were hard things then too, and the Apostle Paul encouraged Christians then and now to think on things which give us joy, and we need it. Let me read from Philippians chapter 4. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Think on these things. Don't dwell on the hurts, the resentments. Think on the noble, the true, the lovely, the good. I want to ask you a question. When your mind wanders, to where does it go? Does it go to random memories, musings, unresolved questions that you have? Or does it naturally drift towards hurts, bitterness, and resentment? The desire to give thanks, to rejoice, is often stymied by our instinct to dwell on the pains and hurts of the past, the comparisons that we make between each other, we evaluate ourselves by what we don't have, and the comparison, the language of scarcity, robs us of joy. And here in the St. Louis area, many of us are familiar with the Eads Bridge. Crosses the Mississippi. It was the first steel bridge in the world. It's over 130 years old. Andrew Carnegie, he's a poor Scottish immigrant, but he was the first steel magnate, and he supplied the steel for the bridge and helped finance it. And what he was trying to do was show that steel could be a wonderful material for large structures. And he, with the building of the Eads Bridge, opened up the market for alloyed steel. But the thing about Carnegie was that he had a drive to amass wealth, to succeed in overabundance. Why was that? Well, because he wanted desperately to beat the man John Rockefeller in wealth, because John Rockefeller had ruined Carnegie's mentor, Tom Scott. His thoughts were filled with this idea, best Rockefeller. And it didn't matter that Carnegie was one of the richest men in the world. He was second to Rockefeller. And so it wasn't enough. One of the richest men of the world can only think in terms of scarcity, and it drove him in very unpleasant and miserable ways. Interestingly, Carnegie wrote in his younger days, "The amassing of wealth is one of the worst species of idolatry. No idol more debasing than the worship of money." But he found himself doing the very thing that he had condemned in his youth, because his thoughts were dominated by resentment. Paul says to fill your thoughts with reasons not to resent, but to give thanks. Gratitude. A lot of people think that, well, that's Oprah's idea. No. Oprah got it from the scriptures. She got it from Paul. Again, Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And when you do, your heart will be moved towards gratitude, and rejoicing is the natural byproduct of that. But the choice is yours. What kind of life, what atmosphere do you want to live in? an atmosphere of resentment and the language of scarcity, or looking to the Lord and what he's given you in his love and the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, of the good things he's given you in this life, food, shelter, a place to live, friends, family. Will you give thanks this Thanksgiving season, or will you live in resentment? I pray we all have the wisdom to choose rejoicing. Blessings on you all.